is okay and that you're all keeping safe. This is your usual girl, Coco Dubai. And in today's video, we are going to talk about 5 problems that face expatriates in UAE that can actually land you in jail. And the 5 things are indebtedness, immorality, use of controlled substances, dispute with employer, and the final one, improper use of documents. On to our first subject, indebtedness. Indebtedness is a situation that you face or you find yourself in that you're not able to repay a loan that you have taken. We all know that when you come to UAE, you get excited, you have a good salary, and you have friends who drive flashy cars, they live in posh places, and you kind of get intimidated and want to be, with the gang. So you end up getting a loan, maybe a personal loan, a car loan, or even a credit card. So oftentimes things happen that are not planned, that are not foreseen. You might end up maybe losing your job. You might end up not getting the salary hike that you've been expecting. Or sometimes an emergency just arises out of nowhere and you end up using a huge chunk of your savings or your money. So what happens when you're not able to repay the banks of these loans that you have taken? The bank usually gives you like 3 months to try and see if you can communicate back to them or you'll start paying them back their money. But what happens when you're not able to pay that money? What the bank does is they file a criminal case. And a criminal case is presented to the police station. The first thing actually that happens is the police will put a ban on you. They will blacklist you actually. And by blacklisting means you're not able to exit the country through any port. So you won't be able to fly out. So you get a call from the police station. You go to the police station, you pay a fine. Depending again on the loan amount, I believe the minimum is around 2,000. You pay the 2,000, they lift the blacklisting. But that's not the end of it. Again, it's case to case, it depends with the bank and the amount that is pending to be repaid. The bank, in this case, might decide to file a civil case. Sorry. And in a civil case, this is where things get heated, you guys. Because now you have to go to the courts and face the judge. The judge will listen to your case, will listen to the bank, of course, who are being presented by the lawyer, and they will listen to you. But at the end of the day, the bank needs to recover their money. So if you don't have the money, you might end up going to jail and doing a jail term, or you might be forced to use other dubious means to get the money. And by other dubious means, I mean getting a loan from a loan shark. This is the worst thing for you to do, because loan sharks are actually prohibited in this country. Why so? Because most of the loan sharks, they usually demand for you to give them your passport as a guarantee that you're gonna repay them back their money. The second thing is they usually give you the money with a very high commission rate that you have to pay them. So in this case, you will see that you're not really solving any problem, because you will be taking money from a loan shark to try and clear off your loan or your credit card. But what happens if you're not able to equalize this? You end up losing your passport, and you end up going to jail. Because if you're not able to pay the loan, you have to serve a jail term. And believe me, this is not the best place to find yourself. Why? Depending on the company that you work with, they might decide to terminate your contract with them. We have companies that are good enough, they might support you, but oftentimes many companies disassociate themselves with individuals who have cases, or they're involved in such dubious activities. So what I will advise people whenever they come to UAE, kindly try to live within your means. Cut your coat according to your size. Don't try to compete with anyone. Stay in your lane. Life is not about competition. Maybe you've seen your friends that maybe they're senior than you in this country. Maybe they're earning more salaries than you. Maybe they even have better commissions than you. And you want to drive the same Porsche car that your friends are driving. Or you want to live in these posh places that your friends are living. But you don't know their source of income. So I would advise people to just focus on living a simple life. Save a lot, do a lot of investments, because you can take these loans and do investments back home. Investments that will give you returns, and in case you are in trouble, let's say maybe, for example, you bought a piece of land, or you bought a house, and for some reason something happens, you're not able to repay the loan. What can you do? You might sell the piece of land, you might sell off your house to repay this loan. You might get another job, and life continues. Instead of just splashing your money all over, wasting all your money, and ending up in jail. So always be wise and think about your future. There is also another thing that most people find themselves in, especially those people that are running companies. Maybe you issue a bounce check. This is a situation where you issue money but you have insufficient funds in your account. So the check is issued and it's dishonored. And this is a straight criminal case in UAE. You will definitely find yourself in trouble. You will go to jail and you will do the time. So make sure whenever you're issuing a check, you have the money. And it's always best practice to contact the people that you owe them. Try to explain your situation. Try to buy time. They're human beings. I believe you can meet somewhere. I have heard stories where people, even the banks, they will give you like a grace period so that you can rearrange yourself and get back on track and pay them back their money. So always speak. Find people that you can speak to. You can even engage the services of a lawyer. You can try to find people or friends who have been in similar situation and try to sort out the problem amicably. So the second point that I wanted to discuss today is about immorality, you guys. And immorality are things like engaging in extramarital affairs, having consensual sex, also things like prostitution. I know so many people who have landed in jail. They have been deported because of involving themselves with this kind of activities. And not only about that, there is a lot of problems that involve this kind of things. You might get up STDs, you might end up getting HIV and AIDS, you might end up getting TB, hepatitis B, and guys, these three diseases, actually, they're not tolerated in this country. You will be deported back to your country. If you're found to be HIV positive, or you have hepatitis B, or even tuberculosis. Yes, these three diseases, when you're found to be infected with them, you will be deported. Another thing is for our girls that we love so much. Oftentimes, girls find themselves pregnant, And in this country, if you're caught to be pregnant, you will serve the jail term. You will go to jail. And the saddest part of this is you stay in jail until you deliver the baby. When you deliver the baby stays back in UAE while you get deported back to your home country. Just stay away of these activities. Don't engage in prostitution. Don't engage in consensual sex. Make sure that if you want to engage in this kind of activities, find yourself a partner that you can go back home, get married. If it's I believe even in this country, there are churches that you can get married. There are mosques that you can have the imams marry two of you. So it's better to avoid deportation, to avoid the consequences that arise from practicing all these extramarital affairs. So be on the lookout, guys. And our third point is the use of controlled substances as well as alcohol. Guys, alcohol is allowed in this country, but with the proper permits. Yes, there is a license. It depends with the salary. I believe the minimum salary, if I'm not wrong, it's 10,000. Maybe I'll double check on that. Yes, you need to apply for the license through HMI or MMI, sorry. Yeah, you need to apply for the license at MMI. There is a procedure, you can Google that. So get yourself a license if you want to drink. Always drink responsibly. Do everything with a limit. And don't drink and drive. If you're caught, guys, you will pay hefty fines and you might end up in jail. And there's places that you can drink. There are restaurants and there are clubs that are designated for drinking alcohol. You cannot drink alcohol in the streets. No. You can drink it at the comfort of your own home, or in the clubs, or in this restaurant that are permitted to do that. Controlled substances like marijuana, crack cocaine, pot, they're not allowed. You're not allowed to consume. You're not allowed to sell. You might come across friends that might lie to you or might mislead you into consuming these substances. Please, you know what brought you in this country, and consuming marijuana or crack cocaine or getting yourself high is not what brought you in this country. So please stay away from all these bad behaviors if you want to stay in this country without trouble, of course. The other thing that I would like to discuss is dispute with your employer. And by dispute with your employer, I mean maybe you're not happy with the company that you're in. Maybe they're racist. Maybe they're not giving you what you deserve in terms of increment, or maybe you're doing a job that you never signed for. So the best thing that I always advise people is, if you're not happy where you are, move. You can always get another job. So instead of getting in trouble, you find yourself not going to work, absconding from your work, this will result in your employer filing a case against you. They will say you're missing from your work. They might even deny you your gratuity. So what do? If you feel you have a conflict with your employer, there are always channels that you can use to address your grievances. You can go to the Ministry of Labor, go file a complaint. Your employer will be called, you will discuss. Maybe not. The problem will be resolved amicable or not. But when a situation reaches that level, it's always good for you to move out. I believe if you're not happy somewhere, you can move. Because for me, that thing actually happened to me. I was in a company that I wasn't happy. So instead of me sitting there and lamenting about it, I started distributing my CVs. I started following people on LinkedIn, and believe you me, within 1 month, I'd gotten a job and had moved out. I could have easily caused a problem for myself and the employer, basically, by going to the Ministry of Labor and trying to cause a storm. But no, I knew I would stand a lot to lose if I chose that particular path. So in this country, what I've learned, guys, avoid trouble. If you're not happy somewhere, just move. If you're not happy with the people you're living with in the house, just move. If you're not happy in your place of work, just move. If you're not happy in your marriage, just move. Why am I talking about marriage here? Yeah, I have read in the news of people jumping off balconies simply because they're not happy, simply because they had a dispute with the husband or the wife. I've read of cases, men killing their wives and vice versa because of marital problems. So don't let it reach that peak. If you're not happy, please move. And the other thing that I wanted to talk about is improper use of documents. And here I'll focus mainly on 2 documents: marriage certificates and educational certificates. Yes, you are right. So when we come to this country, you start looking for jobs, you stumble upon a very good job paying you very good money, but wow, they need maybe a certain degree or even a diploma, so you're not qualified. What do? You apply for the job, you get the job, then you think, yeah, maybe they will definitely ask me for my qualifications and the proof of my qualifications. You decide to go looking for fake documents. When an employer knows that you have lied to them in your CV and you have presented fake documents, some of them will decide to terminate you there and then. Others who are malicious, what they will do is they will let you work for them 2 years, 3 years, 10 years. But when it comes to you resigning and demanding your gratuity, that's where they will get you. They might deny to give you the gratuity, that is the end of service money. And if you try to take them to court, what happens? They will present their case. They will say, come on, this guy lied in their credentials. We came to find out that the certificates that they presented to us were actually fake. And believe you me, the court will side with the employer. So don't try that. If you're not qualified for that job, there are so many colleges that you can engage in. There are online courses that you can do to upgrade yourself. And for the marriage certificates, yes, I have seen quite a number of people. Some of them, they engage in the extramarital activities and they come to discover that they're pregnant. When they discover they're pregnant, what do? They don't want to go to jail. They don't want to lose their job. They don't want to get out of UAE. So they initiate the services of dubious people back home who draft fake marriage contracts and present them to them. What to you if the government comes to find out that these documents are fake? Yes, you stand to go to jail, you stand to pay hefty fines for just lying to the government. Because here there is a case where you have presented fake marriage certificates and maybe you're pregnant and living with a man who is actually not your husband, or living with a woman who is actually not your wife. So guys, please stay away from trouble. Always live within your means. Always strive to do the best. If you don't like something, or you don't like your company or the people that you're working with, always move. And believe you me, people have been in this country for 20 years, for 50 years. Why? They're following the rules of this country. This is a very good country. It has given us plenty of opportunities and we feel honored to be in this country. And I believe you too. If you do the right things, most of these things that I've covered here, you will stay out of trouble and you will enjoy the benefits of this country. I love you so much. Thank you so much for watching. Kindly subscribe to this channel and